This is Dominik TV, and ladies and gentlemen, as of a few moments ago, we have official confirmation from Elliotte Friedman, who's a little bit behind everybody else on the Dominik Kahun news until he drops a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of information we were all waiting for, and I promised you would hear from me as soon as I had those details. So let's get to it. Elliotte Friedman with the details on the Dominik Kahun deal. It's a 1-year contract, and you're ready for this. Let me drag it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, this is all Oilers all the time here on this channel. You see one Oilers jersey there. You see another Oilers jersey here. If I move out of the way, you see a Bakersfield Condors jersey and an Oilers flag, and soon I've been promised to have a hilarious photo up there on the shelf. So let's get to it. I promised you the details. There's the details right there on the screen. Look, hey, don't just listen. Look, $975K for Dominik Kahun on a 1-year contract with the Edmonton Oilers. This will be officially announced by the team sometime, I would predict, between 10 a.m. and noon tomorrow Mountain Time. So keep that in mind. This is all complete reporting from Elliotte Friedman, Dustin Nielsen, Ryan Rishaug, everybody along the line has this as confirmed. The Oilers, because they can't do anything or never want to do anything at 7 o'clock on a Sunday evening, hey, your staff's got to have a weekend off too. I appreciate that. So we'll see it. The old Edmonton Oilers Classic between 10 and noon, and bang, away you go. You've got your Oilers news for the day, except for, in this instance, the Oilers news came at about 6 o'clock this evening, so we'll find ourselves just sitting here rehashing the Dominik Kahun discussion tomorrow on Dominik TV when everybody who didn't know this had happened all over Twitter and Oilers Nation and all those places, well, now they'll get the Edmonton Journal news, they'll get this, they'll get that along the way, and away we go. I'd like to say right now a special welcome in to everybody viewing in from Germany. This has been an exciting time for German hockey, essentially, because now not only do you have Leon Draisaitl, who is the definition of a generational talent out of Germany, but you have a second kind of generational talent in terms of my understanding of German hockey. This is Dominik Kahun, a guy that if he lives up to what he did alongside Leon Draisaitl way back when, especially now that he'll be reunited with Leon Draisaitl, good night, or playing with Connor McDavid, this is going to be a very exciting team for Germany, the country of Germany, to watch here in the upcoming season. And if you're going to stay and stick around and discuss Oilers hockey with us, and you're from Germany, I just wanted to say welcome and enjoy what is to come. So Dominik Kahun, 1 year, $975K with the Edmonton Oilers. The fun part about this is, though, and off of the original video, the video that now has over 1,500 views, and I mean, I talked to you literally like an hour and a bit ago, it seems, but that Dominik Kahun video absolutely out to lunch numbers. Thank you so much to everybody that's tuned into that. But thank you so much to everybody that did question me on breaking up the dynamite line and sending Nugent Hopkins up to the top line with Connor McDavid. And that's what I want to address with the rest of this video, is kind of the idea of what you can do with Kahun. The idea of what Kahun brings to the Oilers lineup. That's the thing. What he brings to the Oilers lineup is beautiful. He brings, in essence, exactly what we've been looking for. Kahun is a guy, based on what he's done with the Hawks, Penguins, and Sabres, a guy who can succeed pretty much anywhere from my understanding. But now you've got a situation on the Oilers' left wing, and this is what we were talking about yesterday when it came to Hoffman, is the idea that we were attached to Mike Hoffman was actually more of an idea that we were attached to a left winger that would bring skill, speed, defensive responsibility, everything that is, and that is found in the game of a guy like Anthony Duclair or a guy like Dominik Kahun, to an extent Andres Athanasiou, and here we go. A day later, we've settled with Dominik Kahun, probably the worst kept secret in the NHL, because how long can you go? I legitimately even asked the question in my title of the last Dominik Kahun video when we were asking, should the Oilers sign him? why isn't Leon Draisaitl's buddy signed, especially when there's been rumors of him coming to Edmonton? Well, the Oilers had to find the numbers, make them fit, and now tomorrow we get exciting. But let's go back to the lineup for a second because I am getting distracted here. Cats are running around, there's noise, there's meowing out in the room, and I can't keep a sentence flowing where it should. But friends, right? Dominik Kahun as a left winger brings exactly what we need to the lineup. You have Tyler Ennis, you have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, you have Dominik Kahun, you have Joakim Nygard, you have Jujhar Khaira to an extent, you have Tyler Ennis, you have guys all around that can take this team to where they need to be. And for the first time in a long, long while, the Oilers not only have legit top 6 options in Ennis, Nugent-Hopkins, and of course Kahun, but they have legit top 9 options, legit top 4 lines options, and NHL players not only in all 4 lines, but as well as 13th and 14th forwards. We're no longer talking about, unless the stud prospect like Lavoie, McLeod, Benson, we're no longer talking about placeholder players. And yes, Kahun you can argue is a placeholder player coming in at 1 year, $975K, but I'm sorry, do the math on Kahun. He's a 40-point player in the NHL per season he's played over the course of 82 games. So sharpen up on those math skills, make sure you're good there. And yeah, it really does make sense as to why you would bring in a Dominik Kahun to try and solve the last remaining puzzle piece of your forward group is that legit top 6 winger situation. And the only reason I think Kahun is a bona fide legit top 6 winger after bouncing between 3 teams is simply because he has that connection to Draisaitl. So back to the McDavid question is you can play him with McDavid, and I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. McDavid probably actually knows some German too. That's the cool part, right? So McDavid knows some German. He can get along with Kahun just as good as Draisaitl can, if not a little worse. But then you have the option to throw him with Draisaitl as well. So either or, you have an option. And then you have Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who has proven ability to either produce with Draisaitl or McDavid. So you've got your left wings figured out. You've got your right wing for Draisaitl figured out. The only question in the top 6, which it really isn't that big of a question, but it is because of Puljujarvi, is what do you do on McDavid's right wing? But, right, McDavid's right wing, Kassian, with Nugent-Hopkins and McDavid, if that line's engaged and going, and especially with the matchup nightmares teams are going to face against the top 3 lines of the Oilers, is Kassian can feast. He can absolutely feast. And somebody said it best in the comments, is he is McDavid's Dave Semenko. Right? You think about those years for Gretzky, you know what? You have to have somebody out there to police the issue. And I'm not talking about go out there and beat the crap out of someone that every time he touches McDavid. That's not the way hockey's played anymore. But Zach Kassian is throwback enough. If something needs policing, he will police it, and Connor McDavid doesn't have to go out there and get frustrated and get sent to the box himself, because we all know what happened the last time Connor McDavid got into a fight, and we don't want to see that in the upcoming season, especially if it's a shortened season. So that's in and of itself is Dominik Kahun. Whether you play him with McDavid or Draisaitl, you have solved the top 6 issue. And you know what? The beautiful part is one of Nugent-Hopkins or Kahun go down, you've got Tyler Ennis who can solve the issue on a need-be basis. The Oilers and Ken Holland have not had this luxury to this point yet. Ken Holland tried to build that last year, didn't quite achieve the effect, but he got us to where we needed to be. Now he's had some time to reno and replace, and look at the job he's done. I'm sorry. Honestly, look at the excitement across Edmonton Oilers land this evening. You know what? It matches and exceeds anything we had for Athanasiou and any anger we had at Holland for letting go of Athanasiou. This is by far and above one of the biggest wins for Ken Holland this offseason. And you know what? You add it up with the other wins and the minor loss on Mike Smith. She's an A-plus offseason if she all works together. And that's what I'll caution. We all get excited about stuff like this right here, right now. And for whatever reason in Oilers land, it always seems to somewhat backfire. But you know what? This could be the year where everything's come together, everything works perfect, and finally you see the Oilers take first place in the Pacific Division, ride through the first two rounds, face some adversity in the conference finals, go into the Stanley Cup finals, and it's anyone's game from there, ladies and gentlemen. My friends, it's been an interesting evening in Oilers land. 975K for Dominik Kahun, 1-year deal. Ken Holland, A plus grade on this one. I'm Tyson, this is Dolan TV. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will catch you in the next one.